topics as far as awareness training?
Right
Anita?
now, we actually just do up some emails and send out some notifications, some emails on a periodic basis. So
Okay.
nothing interactive.
Okay, excellent. And as far as the reason behind looking for this, is this more so an insurance requirement, or are you really looking to change user behavior, or what's really driving um, the search for?
User behavior plus there has been an increase in the cybersecurity threats and actual attacks locally. So we
Okay,
wanted our users to be aware of what's possible and how best to mitigate any issues.
definitely. Well, we will be able to help with that. So as far as the agenda and what we'll discuss in this demo, I'm going to go over some of the key points on our cybersecurity awareness training. From there, I will take you over to our Cyber Central Management portal, and that's where you'll manage the cybersecurity awareness training, where you'll also manage the groups, all of the individual targets, as well as the courses and the phishing simulator. And then from there, we'll obviously answer any questions that you may have as well. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. And do let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So our 90-minute cybersecurity awareness course was really created utilizing our research and development in mind. So you have over 30 years of cybersecurity development and research from ESET in the actual course itself. And we cover the following topics. We cover email in regards to phishing, email attachments and spam, internet safety like public Wi-Fi, staying safe while working on the internet, secure internet and HTTPS, web content filtering, search engine safety. We also dive into personalized threats like social engineering, insider threats. We discuss malware and different types, targets, and how you can be secure on a mobile device. We also discuss passwords, using strong passwords, password hygiene, and password management, and then two-factor authentication. We also get into the privacy factor as well. Other short courses are also added weekly that highlight the most current activity and threats happening today. But what's nice, as you'll see, is you can also upload your own custom content that is specific to your organization and even create testing for it as well. So in regard to the context, the course is gamified in nature, making the experience interactive. All the training, whether the full annual course or the smaller refreshers, are scenario driven to really help the learner connect to the lesson and identify with their own personal experiences and reality. Users respond very well to this approach really in learning. In fact, we actually mandate this training internally at ESET on an annual basis as well. So as for engagement, the topics are presented with metaphors that really help even kind of the least tech savvy users understand the concepts. Then it will require them to immediately put their new knowledge to the test by answering questions that show they are learning the content. So there's actually the ability to kind of um, a refresher, so to speak. Their overall reputation score goes up or down based on how successfully they answer the questions and teaches them what they got wrong. Now, the reinforcement is pivotal as well. So at the end of each submodule, there is an interactive game that has them prove they know the correct behavior. Incorrect answers will trigger a feedback that teaches them how to get it correct the next time. And if they don't score highly enough, they must repeat the game until they get a passing score. Finally, at the end, there is a test that they must pass in order to get their certificate. Now, the awareness training also comes with a comprehensive phishing simulator. There's a ton of phishing email templates that you can choose and customize. You can see a fake Netflix password email and kind of a landing page here if they were to actually click into that email. You also have the ability to create or upload your own phishing test if you like. And the phishing tests are unlimited and can be scheduled to run at your desired frequency, such as weekly or monthly. And then if the users fail, they can even be automatically re-enrolled to additional refresher trainings, or if they fail multiple times, you can even assign them the complete cybersecurity awareness training all over again. Now, it may seem like a lot, but our cybersecurity awareness training and phishing campaign are actually bundled into one SaaS product that manages everything, and it's called ESET Cyber Central. And that's the management console. From there, admins can easily add new users, enroll users in training, set up and run phishing simulations, and view organization reports and metrics. So ultimately, this context, engagement, and reinforcement of learning material truly creates a behavioral change and will improve your organization's security posture. So with that, let's go ahead and I'm going to dive into the actual Cyber Central Management Console. So this is what the console would look like, and it'll populate the dashboard right away when you log in, but you're not going to have any data in the dashboard right away because you don't have any groups and you don't have any students enrolled. So the first thing that you would want to do is come over here to the targets and groups, and then you'll go ahead and create a group. Now, these groups can be anything you like. It can be representative of your entire organization, or you can do specific groups like, let's say, finance, or you could do marketing or admins, whatever group you're trying to ultimately assign the training to. Down here, as far as the admin email, that'd be pretty straightforward. Whichever email would like to get copied on the enrollments and everything else. And then as far as third-party sync, how you can import those targets, you can do it manually, obviously, but the easiest route would be to actually sync, and you can sync directly with Active Directory. You could sync with Office 365 Tenant, or if you have Azure AD, you can also sync that way as well. Another common option that's used if you have a CSV or a list of devices, you can also import a CSV to go ahead and create that sync. What's nice as well is when you do have the sync option, you have auto sync and smart sync that can be enabled as well. And this will actually add or remove users depending on the Active Directory or wherever you have synced in addition. So once you go ahead and create that group, if you didn't use the sync option, you'll have to go ahead and manually add targets. So you can go over to the manage group, choose the group that you are utilizing. In this case, we'll go with my demo group here. Go to view targets. And then from here, you have the ability to add your manually added targets just by first name, last name, and email is all that is required. You can put the additional information if you like, but we just need those three to go ahead and add those targets specifically to the group. Now, once that group has been created, you'll want to assign them training. And the enrollment of the training happens over in the schools tab. So in here, you would come down to create enrollment. And then you have a couple of options. You can enroll by group or you can enroll by individual targets. If you're enrolling by group, you'll see the drop down pops over here and you can just go ahead and select that group. And as far as some additional settings here, if they've already received a new account notification, you probably don't want to send an additional one again, so you can actually suppress that. And if you also want to eliminate the enrollment email notification that's predefined from Cyber Central and you prefer to send your own enrollment email, you can also suppress that as well. As far as the available courses, we have a ton that are available, and I'll go more into those courses here in a minute. But as far as the main 90-minute cybersecurity awareness training, it would be this 2022 ESET cybersecurity awareness training. So you would go ahead and select that to enroll that group there. And then over here, you can define a due date. Enrollment manager, they're just going to be carbon copied on all of the enrollment emails to the students. So you can go ahead and define an enrollment manager if it would be somebody separate from the administrator. And once you click enroll, that group and those particular students will be enrolled in that particular course. Now at that point, you can kind of come over to the dashboard, and now your dashboard will start being active and actually receiving some metrics across your organization. So it'll show you how many students you currently have enrolled, how many have started, or in this case, not started that particular course or courses. It'll show you how many are still in progress, and it'll show you how many have completed the course in addition. There's also some other metrics here, and as you see when I discuss the phishing simulator, this will make more sense, but you can see your testing activity in regards to how many have passed, failed, or clicked into potentially malicious emails or those phishing simulations that you've sent. And then you can also see the active phishing campaign tests that you have directly below here in this HUD. And then all the way at the bottom, you can also see some information about your account as well, license type, how many seats, and things like that as well, renewal date in addition. So now that you've assigned a course, the next step is really to ensure that everybody is actually learning, right? Reinforcement of the behavior. And that's where that phishing campaign manager comes into place. And that actually lives over in the test and campaign section. So to go ahead and start that process, you would go and create a campaign. You can name that campaign whatever you like. In this case, we'll call it core phishing test. And then as far as groups, if you did have multiple, you can assign multiple, or you can just select that specific group. So in this case, we'll choose my demo group. As far as target selection or which students will actually be participating in this, you can manually select those targets, or you can just utilize the entire group by leaving it default here. Now this tab is really nice and a special feature, auto enroll failing targets. As you see when I select this, you'll see up here that a separate tab opens up called course auto enroll. You see that there? So this course auto enroll is nice because what this does is if a user interacts with a potentially malicious email or your phishing test, you have several different action triggers that can be responsive to it. So in this scenario, let's say a user clicks into that email. Well, in that scenario, maybe you want to go ahead and assign additional refresher training called the test fail phishing. So this will assign them like a 15-minute refresher training on phishing. Let's say the user goes to a landing page afterwards and interacts with the landing page. At that point, you could go in here and go to the even longer refresher training and do refresher phishing, which will be about a 30-minute course. Now, let's say they go and they're even replying to this email. So not only do they click in, but they're also replying and possibly sending data over to that phishing test. At this point, you could go down and select an even longer test called the test fail social engineering, because at this point, social engineering, someone is trying to obtain their data or get them to provide credentials, and they potentially did so in this phishing test. So they probably need some more information on that. Now, the repeat offenders tab is nice because if you have somebody that's consistently failing tests within a specified time period, you do have the ability to go ahead and even assign them the entire 2022 cybersecurity awareness training all over again. So if they failed the test 3 times in the last 3 months, they would be assigned the whole training all over again. And you can redefine new due dates for these refresher trainings in addition as well. Do you have any questions on that?
No, not me. So it looks good so far.
Okay. So this would be where you would manually select targets. If in that beginning during the campaign setup, you chose to manually select targets, that would be done here. And then under the phishing template, this is where you really will select the actual template that is being utilized. And as you'll see down here in our template library, we have hundreds that are available to you. Everything from banking, Bank of America, Realtor.com, Starbucks, Coinbase, HBO Max, DoorDash, PayPal. I mean, you name it, we have emails that look pretty official. And if you were trying to modify or change any of them, you could simply come over here into the one that you've already downloaded, because this is a repository or a library. So when you click get, it'll download it into your actual library. And then once you download it, that's where you'll have the option to add and edit it to any of your campaigns. So for instance, we'll go down to one I've used before. Where's it? Dropbox. So Dropbox account setup. Let's say you want to edit it and make it look even more official. This is what the email template would look like, Dropbox's logo and everything else. And then you could actually customize or change any of the text, change images, or whatever else you would like to do just to make it look even more official. I'll show you another one here as well. The PayPal one is pretty good too. Where's the PayPal one? So you can see some of the, obviously it has like the official PayPal logos, information, predefined variables, so it'll auto populate their name and everything else within here. But yeah, this is just a nice way to come in here and you can really modify things to obviously try to deceive your users a little bit further and make it look more like legitimate email coming from the actual account like PayPal. So once you go ahead and select the appropriate phishing template, you would simply come over here and click add, and then you'll see that that template has been selected at that point. One thing to note is when you're looking over here at your actual template, you see these icons next to them. These icons, this little email icon just designates that there is an email that goes out. And this icon over here designates that there is a landing page that tries to gather information from them as well. If it just has the email icon, that means that they just get an email. There's not a landing page that's associated as well, just so you're aware there. So once you're done there, you'll simply go over to save and next once you have your template selected, and then it'll take you to the verify and run test, and you'll just go ahead and verify and run the test, and then those targets will be enrolled in that specific phishing campaign. Now, as far as managing the test, you can go over to the Manage tab and you can get some further analytics on users and interaction with those potentially malicious emails. And to do so, you would just go to your demo group, which you would have less here, but you would come and click View, and then you can see metrics that are directly tied into that specific phishing campaign. Instead of like the dashboard where it'll just overview kind of your entire organization, this will go specifically into that phishing campaign. And you can see the targets that have passed, targets that have failed, how many have interacted with potentially malicious items. You can see what the users actually did. Did they go and open that email? Did they click into the email itself? Did they provide any additional data by responding to that email or interacting with the phishing page? And you can also see if they received training based on those failed user actions in addition. So you have a lot of insight and metrics available from the phishing campaigns as well. Now going over into the schools tab, just showing you the school library. This is where you'll see we have all kinds of additional training as well, not just our cybersecurity awareness training, but you'll have access and you can provide any kind of training to your users. If you wanted to do a little refresher training every quarter or biannually, you could do that as well. Or if you want to put, different things like safeguarding your personal email, fortifying your account with passwords, you can assign them all types of separate training throughout the year just to make sure that they're staying consistent, staying aware and up to date with current trends. And like I mentioned, we really are a research and development firm first, right? So we actually provide all of that content and all of that research, and we'll update these trainings throughout the year and add new trainings in addition to stay relevant and stay current with the active cybersecurity landscape. You also have the ability to create your own content in addition. So if you wanted to create your own content, that would happen again over in the templates area, and you would have the ability to create your own template. You could make it look like whatever you want. You could take any kind of logos or really anything to try to trick or make the users think it's coming from an official account or anything like that. If you also have your own training, you also have the ability to create your own training in addition. So you could create content, and you could create, even if it's not cybersecurity based, you could create training based around whatever topic, whether it's HR related, sexual harassment, so on and so forth. And you could also create testing for that in addition. So you really do have the ability to kind of leverage this console and training platform for other needs outside of just cybersecurity awareness training. So do you have any questions, or is there anything specific that you wanted to see within this console?
No, not me, not me. I know we got the demo, so we need to go through and work through setting that up.
Yeah, and there's some nice resources as well within here. This user guide, lives right here within this Cyber Central Management Console, and it'll help you by getting started. There's a tab here, Getting Started, and you can go through the whole process that I just went through. It'll show you how to create the groups and import targets, how to save list and whitelist if you like to, how to create those phishing campaigns. So it'll walk you through everything. It'll even tell you how to add users or enable two-factor if you wanted to enable 2FA on your Cyber Central account. So this user guide is really helpful, and I like how it lives natively within this console as well. In addition, with the administration, you can do different things like manage the settings. You can add administration users and stuff like that. So you can, not just one person can manage this console, you can have multiple admins managing this Cyber Central console. Anybody else have anything or anything in particular they wanted to see within this console?
I'm excited to get going to the demo.
Perfect. Well, I'll send you an additional email just with my contact information. That way, while you're trialing, if you do have any specific questions you can't find in the user guide, feel free to reach out and ping me. But if not, I really appreciate you guys for joining us today on this demo, and be on the lookout for an email from me, and I'll give it back to Ryan.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for that great demo, George. Yeah, like George said, definitely send us any questions that you might have. We can definitely get those addressed for you. I believe you should have pricing already, but correct me if I'm wrong there. Yeah, everything should be good to go from here. I also got you set up with a trial the other day. So I just want to confirm that you did get the email giving you access to that.